Didn't mean to. Hey Brian, or actually Paul, if you click on that Q&A button on the bottom, do you see
Okay.
Brian's question in there? Brian Wood.
All right, Brian Wood. For the intro show, could we find out some details about Paul's farm? How long has he been on his Montana property? I'm also curious if Paul's farm is paid off at this point. All right. Okay. So I bought 200 acres 3.5 years ago. And I bought it outright. And so I do not owe money on that. And then it's raw land. And so then I decided that I would like to find a piece of property nearby that had a house and a shop and electricity and internet and plumbing and all that stuff while I am establishing all the things I think are awesome. And I didn't have enough to buy that property outright. And I think that the story of how I got that property is pretty cool. I mean, it had a little house on it, a little shop, all the standard little things, and it was very close to the property. The really cool thing is that, I mean, I was very active in my podcasts and stuff back then, and active, of course, on my website. And that particular property, the deal was it was owner finance, which is very common in rural areas. And because banks typically won't touch acreage of any kind. So I said, okay, I'll buy it. I got enough money for a down, and I'll do owner finance on the rest of it. And the owner came back and said, well, we've had it listed for a couple of years, and this is the first time somebody's actually made an offer on it. You sucker, you. And but during this time we've changed our mind. We don't want to do owner finance. And so I kind of went back to my peeps at Permies and I said, well, damn it, the next closest property is quite a ways away, which is unfortunate. And so then people were like, well, how much was the mortgage going to be? And I said, 5%. And then they said, well, I got a big chunk. I mean, I don't have enough, but I got a big chunk sitting in the bank where I'm getting 0.5%. And I trust you more than the bank. And so 7 people cobbled their coin together and came up with enough so I could pick up the property that we call Base Camp. And the cool thing is that there's no signature, there's no lien. They just sent the coin.
Now, what did they get in return? Did they get that 0.5% or did
5%? I'm happy to. I'm paying the 5%.
Oh,
so I think I sent them I sent them all the interest like a year ago, and so and then there's a couple of people that contacted me and said, "Shit happened. I need to, I need that money," and so got them their money. And so a couple of the debts have been cleared, and paid interest on all of them. And that's where we're at. I hope to be able to clear it all out within 2 more years.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so what's happened on the property? So you get the property and then moved a bunch of people onto it, or what?
So I got the property, got Base Camp. The story of just what all's gone on here could fill a couple of books. Let's just say that right now, if when people come by and they do the tour to see all the things, if they don't ask any questions, it's a 3-hour tour to see the things that have been done.
Wow.
But we've got like a dozen people that live on the lab. And the lab is what we call the big property, the 200-acre property. Let's see. So that's some details about the farm. How long has he been there? Okay. And is it paid off at this point? And so the lab is paid off, and base camp is not. In a way, base camp is totally paid off, and in a way, it's not. And it's like I'm not beholden to insurance companies or mortgage company, because a mortgage company is going to require an insurance thing, and so I'm not beholden to any of that. And
all you have to worry about is the government at this point.
Yeah. So let's see some details.
Is it all zoned ag?
It's partially ag and partially forest.
Okay.
So
that's pretty nice in Plattsburgh.
The and we don't have building codes here, and so it was like when I bought the place, the real estate agent, when I bought base camp, the real estate agent went on and on about how her mom lives in a place with building codes, and how they both had the exact same thing done to each of their houses, and like what the process was like for each. And it's like way easier. But of course, I've got the Wofati is my natural building design, and I needed a place to be able to build it and see how well it worked and to experiment. So we have 2 of those now.
I didn't know you built the second one.
Yeah, the second one is the one that probably gets more pictures. It's bigger, and it's like when you sit inside, I mean, it's very roomy inside. And so a lot of people really, it's got a certain beauty to it. Yeah. It's also the one where we built a rocket mass heater in it, and it's the one that's featured in Ernie and Erica's book, the Builder's Guide, the Rocket Mass Heater Builder's Guide. And so we've also got the DVD, the first DVD of the new 4 DVD set about rocket mass heaters, that features that same rocket mass heater inside that Wofati. So the 2 Wofatis, the first one's called Allerton Abbey, and the second one is called Cooper Cabin. And so we got that. We also did the rocket mass heater in the tipi, and that was like one of the very first things we did when we arrived here. The idea is to help prove the power of a rocket mass heater. And the thing is that the way a rocket mass heater heats is so different from what people are used to. Oh man, I can see that. Can everybody else see that?
Yeah.
Awesome. The way a rocket mass heater heats is so different from. I mean, everybody is kind of used to like their heat comes from a central heater, which is blown through vents, and which is like the least efficient form of heat. And so we wanted something where everybody can understand. It's in a teepee. That is an uninsulated thing. And so as luck should have it, it got to 26 below that winter when a couple was living in the teepee to test out how well it worked. And the whole experiment is a massive success. The fire goes out in the evening. The following morning, it's 26 below, only the couple doesn't know it. And they don't find out how cold it is until they leave the teepee.
Yeah.
So what a massive, massive success. Other stuff that we've got up there, we got Ant Village.